Shop Gaming. I'm the Mutton Shop Gamer, and today we're going to be taking a look at Bayonetta 2. Now, this game has had a little bit of controversy around it. I mean, it came out around the same time as Gamersgate, and the initial controversy about it coming out exclusively on the Wii U when the first Bayonetta game was not on a Nintendo console at all. But we're going to ignore all that. We're going to be looking just at Bayonetta 2. Well, let's get started. The narrative takes place sometime after the first game. I don't know when exactly, but it seems that Enzo is still alive and a semi-respectable family man, so it was probably, what, 2 years? Well, both heaven and hell have gone quiet, but then both suddenly attack Bayonetta and Jean, a fellow Umbra witch. I say both because Bayonetta summons her dragon in a fight against the angels, it breaks free, and tries to kill her. Jean then sacrifices herself to save Bayonetta's life. Because dead witches go to hell, but Jean's body still has some life in it, Bayonetta decides to go to Fimbulventer, a supernatural mountain that has the entrances to both Paradiso, or heaven, and Inferno, or hell. All to save her best friend, Jean. While there, she runs into Loki, whom the angels call the Sovereign One and who has the power of the remembrance of time. She also runs into Luca again, a paranormal investigative journalist who gives exposition about Fimbulventer. I know this is going to get more complicated, but just hear me out. Apparently, 3 worlds exist. Paradiso, the world of light, Inferno, the world of darkness, and the human realm, the world of chaos. Purgatorio is the realm in between this trinity where angels, demons, sages, and witches can all meet and battle without interfering with the human realm. Each world needed a ruler, and the ruler of the human realm lived on Fimbulventer, called the Overseer, who decided to give free will to humans. He also gave the left eye of darkness to be held by the Umbra witches, and the right eye of light to be cared for by the Lumen sages. Basically, after Bayonetta kinda sorta killed the last Lumen Sage in the first game, the world is imbalanced, and so something is going to be going down on Fimbulventer. Basically, all we really know for sure is that Bayonetta wants to save Jean from an eternity in hell, Loki wants to get to Fimbulventer, and Rodin, the shopkeeper, is still a BAMF.
Being a demon lets me read minds. You're thinking, shut up and take my halos. Let's do it.
Oh, and there's a Lumen Sage from the past after you, and you go back in time to when the whole witch hunt began, and leads to a moment that I think they wanted to be heartfelt, but it could be made funny in so many ways. However, there is a genuinely sad scene at the start that may be undermined if you haven't beaten Bayonetta 1. But, speaking as someone that has beaten Bayonetta 1, it was really good. No Jubileus-style fake-out moments, though. I realize most of what I've just said won't make any sense unless you've played the first game, but I hope I made it clear enough for the uninitiated. The music is good and well made, but there's nothing that really sticks out in my mind. The last game had a great cover of Sinatra's "Fly Me to the Moon," but I don't hear a central theme to this game as much. And I won't give credit to the golden records you find, because those are just based on classical tracks from real life. The sound effects, however, are visceral and they all work really well, giving most of your weapons a nice, punchy feeling. Now for the part I saved for last. I love the aesthetic design for this game. All that gorgeous detail with the perfect color palette making this cohesive world. The overall tone of the game is a blue color, unlike the previous game focusing on red. The game does go red, however, when you get to Hell. I also really like Hell's design, which involved architecture, but it was also very organic with these plants everywhere. There is also a central theme of time throughout the game, because time travel, timing to save Jean, and the remembrance of time are all major things here. This is reflected in the cutscenes where the clock hands are used to cut cameras. Yes, I need to pick nits about the visuals, keep your pants on. One issue I have is that neither heaven nor hell look like places I'd want to go for the afterlife. Now, this could be fine if they stuck to calling them heaven and hell, but they're using proper names like Paradiso, translated into paradise, and Inferno, translated into hell. If we are supposed to want to be in paradise, why are these angels so scary? Demons are scary too, so I wouldn't want to go to either place.
This may do away with the trope of good guys are pretty, bad guys are ugly, but they could have gone with nice guys that are the ones that don't look good, but bad guys will tempt you with their good looks. I mean, considering how the modern Umbra witches are made to look sexy, it could have worked that way. Also, Loki looks like a Final Fantasy character more than a Bayonetta character. Something about the eye shape, the hair, and the clothing choice, I think. Am I supposed to be floating above this rock? Hey, with this new costume, the target reticle changed to a square. Something about a Nintendo character beating up what looks like a button from a PlayStation controller seems Flame War starty. Now, I suppose I need to talk about this here. Bayonetta and the sex appeal. I don't know if Gamergate is still going on, but Bayonetta 2 came out with the most awkward timing in the world. A time when game journalists, for the most part, are saying that gamers are misogynistic pigs. And gamers are saying that game journalists need to be more transparent in their dealings. This game is certainly awkward for the former of those two parties now, isn't it? Considering that Bayonetta is sexy for sexy's sake. She was designed by a woman, so people can't argue that it's too offensive, and I've heard arguments that it's fine because she's not making herself sexy for any man. Personally, though, I have a counter-argument to that statement. You need to account for the player in this situation. There's nobody on screen she's choosing to be sexy for, but she could be trying to be sexy for the player. The player is controlling her, so maybe the pole dancing is the player's choice. However, one could argue that she chooses to be sexy for her own sake, and that the player is just getting lucky camera angles, much like how characters in the game get lucky sights. It's a complex argument, and there's no real right answer because, you know, Bayonetta is not a real character, and we can't ask her if she feels objectified. So this argument could go on for ages. The gameplay is just about the same when compared to Bayonetta 1. It's a beat-em-up with platforming and exploration elements. I guess I have to call it an action-adventure game for lack of a better genre name. You have guns on your heels and in your hands, and you can shoot baddies. You can also summon demons with your weaves to hit people, and you're really just good at kicking butt and taking names in general. You also find gold records with music on them. In exchange for them, Rodon will give you new weapons that you can use, like swords, bows, and whips. You collect halos and gems to buy items and accessories from Rodon because they're worth quite a bit in HAL. There are also a number of costumes based on Nintendo franchises. The sad thing is that this has been the closest we've gotten to a good Metroid game since an abomination on the Wii. These costumes also change up attacks and abilities slightly, kind of like the accessories you can also buy. They're also a lot more modest than Bayonetta's default model, so if the sexiness factor isn't why you got the game, then you won't have any problems with the costumes. There are levels where you fly planes, and if you have the Star Fox skin, it becomes an R-ring, but more importantly is this level. I am riding a unicorn through hell. If this game is not in at least the top 3 games of 2014, we have failed, ladies and gentlemen. Boss health bars go pretty long, but they're meant to make you try out all your combos. And the use of said combos, avoiding damage, and your speed affect your grading at the end of levels and at the end of fights. Lastly, there are challenge levels that you can go after if you want. There's no penalty for failure, so you can try to beat them if you really want to. I ended up not doing it.
This game is really good. Admittedly, it's not perfect, but it's still really good. I'm gonna give it an A. If you don't have a Wii U and you want to play this game, I have to say, go buy a Wii U. Get this game. It's really good. It comes highly recommended. Now, if that statement doesn't already make me look like a big enough Nintendo fanboy, I'm gonna go get started on the next game for my show, which is gonna be another Wii U game. See you all next week.